Since 2004, millennials have been voting increasingly Democratic in presidential elections. They're half as likely to self-identify as politically conservative and nearly twice as likely to say they're liberal. And this has led many people to conclude that this is a Democratic generation. But despite all of this, millennials are actually no more likely than Americans over 30 to say they're Democrats. Instead, they're 3 times as likely to say they're independent and half as likely to say they're Republican. Millennials have little confidence in either of the 2 major political parties, especially when it comes to privacy, government spending, the deficit, and drug policy. However, they do seem to view Democrats as the better of 2 bad options, and they're really frustrated with the Republican Party, who they see as being a little bit too far to the right on social issues. The fact is, millennials aren't liberals, they're social liberals, and they're fiscal centrists, and their social attitudes are what's largely defining their political identities and driving their voting behavior. So how do we know that social issues are largely defining their political identities? Well, first, we asked them. Among liberal millennials, only a third said something about economics being part of the reason why they're liberal. Instead, 2/3 said something about social issues, social tolerance as being critical to why they are liberal. Second, we find that millennials see themselves as closer to President Barack Obama on social issues, no surprise there, but they actually see themselves as closer to New Jersey Governor Christie, who is a Republican, on economic issues. Nevertheless, they're still voting for Democrats. The third thing is that a majority of millennials say that they would vote for a socially liberal, fiscally conservative candidate. Some might call that a libertarian-leaning candidate. But the millennials who are most supportive of this type of candidate are liberal and democratic millennials. In fact, liberal millennials are 20 points more likely than conservatives to say that they would vote for a socially liberal, fiscally conservative candidate. These demonstrate to us that social issues are largely driving their political judgments. And this actually isn't that surprising because economics just isn't that salient for this cohort yet. And some of the reasons for that are that they're getting married later and they're buying homes later, and they're just not paying that much in taxes yet. But once those things inevitably start to happen, economics will matter more to their political judgments, and we may see a shift in their attitudes towards government.